Hello and welcome to a big one. This is the one that people want to see. It's a heavyweight showdown between the reigning champ for almost the last 2 years in the Zen and a couple new challengers in the Phaze 5 and Fate. All these are available to buy on Bowler's Mart. Links are in the description below. Also remember my new YouTube memberships as well as the existing Patreon and Discord options once again in the description below. Starting with the tech, as always, I'm going to use the chart for a visual on the covers. Phaze 5 has the weakest cover in R2S. It's medium traction with an above average reaction to the dry, so it's your prototypical rolly and punchy big symmetric pearl. Next is the Zen, which has the S77 response cover, which is close to R3X, so decent jump in strength over the P5 cover. Then the Fate has the REX cover, which is technically the strongest. It's NEX with a little R2S mixed in to help it in the length and shape department. Looking at the cores and numbers, the Phaze 5 has the Velocity core at a 248 RG and an 051 differential. The Zen has the Meditate core, which is 249 and 051. And the Fate has the new F8 core, which is 252 and 053. Lowest RG for the P5, highest diff for the Fate, but Velocity and Meditate are the strongest, very similar feels. We'll start with the Zen to set the tone. All the details are in the sidebars like usual. My stats are in the description. The Zen is strong but not quite heavy rolling. It revs quickly and it's right in between smooth and sharp. It's in that perfect zone where it's quick enough off dry boards to give you some punch, but smooth enough in the oil to give you some miss room towards the inside. Part of this is how strong, or part of the forgiveness is how strong the core is, but with the cover being above medium strength, the extra traction helps blend the lane out too. Higher strength covers get more traction earlier, which helps them to stabilize and blend the lane. With it being shiny, that helps it in the length and shape department, and the result is lightning in a bottle. The Zen has been wildly popular for almost a couple years now. It's not going anywhere anytime soon, and any competing ball has a tall order when it comes to challenging it. Neither the Phaze 5 or Fate step on its toes though, and that's of course a smart decision. No reason to release something that directly competes with the Zen or overlaps it considerably when it's still so popular. Next is the Phaze 5. What it really feels like is a straight step down from the Zen across the board. The shape is similar, the friction response is similar, the Zen just handles volume better or hooks more. They have the same kind of roundish arc. They will straighten out on occasion if you get too far up the back or miss too far out, but this makes them both really responsive to hand position changes. They also have the same strong but controllable on friction and smooth in the oil characteristics, which will make them incredibly forgiving on your normal league shots, in addition to letting you play virtually wherever you need to. It can go down and in if that's available, or it can cover boards if you have the friction for that. There's not really a preference from the ball as far as which zones it likes to play from. Finally, the Fate. It's a little earlier and definitely blendier / smoother than the Phaze 5. It's almost a straight step down from the Zen, but in a different way. Where the Phaze 5 matches the shape of the Zen, but not the traction or amount of hook, the Fate almost matches the hook or traction, but with a smoother shape. I find the Fate to be the most forgiving of the three because it's responsive on the dry, but not as much as the other two, while also being smoother in the oil as well, or in other words, it's not as sharp on the dry, so it's not going to overreact on misses outside, and will push or hold more on misses inside. This also means that there's more potential for it to hit flat, but I've used it the last several league sets and haven't noticed a difference on the score sheet in the flat corners department, and I have noticed a lot more forgiveness on misses inside than I have with anything else. If you like your Zen and wish it was just a little calmer or more controllable, that's exactly the Fate. And if you have the Phaze 5 and wish it blended the lane a little better, that's also the Fate. In closing, I'll mix some shots up here to offer a look at them all back to back to back. The Zen is still a GOAT, it's not going anywhere, and neither the Fate or Phaze 5 is going to unseat it, but like I touched on earlier, they weren't trying to. The objective was to add complements, not competition. I think having them all together in the bag is probably overkill, but two of them in any combination would definitely work. Once again, I have Bowler's Mart links in the description below for you to pick these up. Fate isn't available until November 18th, but pre-orders are open. Don't forget my membership options. Thanks, as always, to my outstanding members. Thank you for watching, and may the strikes be with you.